So the draw for Canada has just come out for the ladies, and it's looking really, really interesting. Some players have got some really tough matches in the early rounds. Let's go have a look at who's not playing, because there are some big names not playing. So starting with Badosa, she's not playing. She's been injured for the last couple of tournaments, so she's unfortunately not playing. Jabeur also not playing. Cartel's not playing. Sabalenka also not playing because of fatigue. She's had a lot of tennis the last couple of months, so she's taking this one off. Vekic, Wong, and Zhang, who went into surgery, and we don't know when we're going to see her back. She might not be back until later in the year. So, some big names there, but there are some big names still playing, so let's go to the top of the draw. All right, top of the draw, and we've got 32 seeds in this one, and every seed gets a bye in the first round. So I'm with Coco Gauff, number 1 seed, gets a bye in the first round. She'll take on either the winner of Collins or a qualifier in the second round. Then you've got another qualifier taking on Kudermetova. Winner of that will take on the number 29 seed, Danilovic, in the second round. Then you've got Kenin, gets a bye in the first round, 23rd seed. She'll take on either Burrell or Mboko in the second round. Then you've got Uchiyama taking on Buzkova. Winner of that will take on the number 14 seed Schneider in the second round. So some tough matchups for the seeds in this one, and the big seeds, especially Gauff, not an easy road. Of course, you got to watch out for Gauff, you got to watch out for Schneider. Also got to watch out for Kenin, can be very dangerous on all surfaces. But the unseeded players, you got to watch out for Collins, possible second round matchup with Coco Gauff there, and also got to watch out for Mboko. Good young Canadian player who's been playing really well this year, so definitely got to watch out for them as well. Next section of the draw, we've got the number 12 seed, Alexandrova, gets a bye in the first round. She'll take on either Zhu or a qualifier in the second round. Then you got Lemens taking on Kudermetova. Winner of that will take on the number 18 seed, Haddad Maia, in the second round. Then you got the number 26 seed, Kruger. She'll take on the winner of a qualifier and Monero in the second round. Then you got 2 qualifiers going at it. Winner of that match will take on the number 7 seed, Palini, in the second round. A lot of qualifiers in this section of the draw, so a little bit more open for these seeds. But of course, you've got to watch out for Palini in this one. Trying to regain some points after losing points at the French Open and Wimbledon over the last couple of months. Also got to watch out for Alexandrova, really, really dangerous on all courts with her game. Also be watching out for Kruger, can be very dangerous as well on the hard courts. But yeah, really interesting draw because of all the qualies. Who knows what's going to happen in this one. Next section of the draw, we've got the number 4 seed Andreeva. She gets a bye in the first round. She'll take on the winner of Andreescu and Krejcikova, who are going at it in the first round. What a crazy first round matchup. Winner of that will take on Andreeva, so very tough start. Then you got Joint taking on Fernandez. Winner of that will take on the number 28 seed Kessler in the second round. Then you got the number 24 seed Kostyuk. She'll get a bye in the first round. She'll take on the winner of Vondrousova versus Eala. So another crazy first round matchup and a very tough draw for everybody involved. Then you got Dolehide taking on Blinkova. Winner of that will take on the number 15 seed Kazatkina in the second round. So this is a jam-packed draw with all the unseeded players. Super dangerous, but the seeds also looking for form. So it's going to be interesting to see who gets out of this section. Because you've got to watch out for Andreeva. Back on the hard courts, we'll see if she can regain some form because she hasn't really been her best the last couple of tournaments. Kostyuk as well, got to watch out for her, very dangerous on all courts. But the unseeded players, you've got to watch out for Fernandez. He's having a really good week this week in Washington. You've got to watch out for Andreescu, got to watch out for Krejcikova as well. Also got to watch out for Vondrousova and Eala. So very stacked section of this draw, full of dangerous unseeded players. So it'd be really interesting to see who gets out of it. Next part of the draw, you got the number 9 seed Rybakina, gets a bye in the first round. She'll take on the winner of a qualifier or Baptiste in the second round. Then you got Christian taking on Stakusik. Winner of that will take on the number 20 seed Noskova in the second round. Then you got number 30 seed Yastremska. She gets a bye in the first round. She'll take on either a qualifier or Osorio in the second round. Then you got another qualifier taking on Marino. Winner of that will take on number 8 seed Navarro in the second round. So a little bit more of an open section of the draw with really the standout being Rybakina. We've got to watch out for Navarro and Rybakina, both the seeds in this one. Navarro hasn't had a great year after breaking out last year, so keen to see how she does here. Of course, Rybakina is having a really good week this week, and definitely the standout in this section. But you also got to watch out for Noskova as well, and Yastremska can be very dangerous on all courts. But this feels like it's Rybakina's section, and she should get out of this if she plays as well as she's been playing. Bottom half of the draw now, we've got the number 5 seed Anisimova. She gets a bye in the first round. She'll take on either Castella or Sun in the second round. Then you got Ruse taking on Raducanu. Winner of that will take on the number 32 seed Stearns in the second round. Then you got the number 19 seed Mertens. She gets a bye in the first round. She'll take on either Lee or Kalinskaya in the second round. Then you got a qualifier taking on Cross. Winner of that will take on the number 10 seed Svitolina in the second round. So another interesting section here with some dangerous unseeded players, but also some big seeds that have been playing well. Of course, got to watch out for Anisimova. Really keen to see how she does after that Wimbledon final a couple of weeks ago. Got to watch out for Svitolina as well. Can be dangerous on hard courts. Also, Mertens and Stearns. We know that they can catch fire at any time. But you got to watch out for Kalinskaya. Has had a really good week in Washington this week. And Raducanu also having a really good week in Washington this week. So, could be interesting to see who gets out of this as well. Next part of the draw, we've got The number 13 seed, Samsonova, she gets a bye in the first round. She'll take on either a qualifier or Osaka in the second round. Then you got Bolter versus Zarazua. Winner of that will take on the number 22 seed, Ostapenko, in the second round. Then you got the number 25 seed, Linette. She'll take on either Tomanovic or Sevastova in the second round. Then you got Sakkari taking on Brandstein. Winner of that will take on the number 3 seed, Pegula, in the second round. So again, some really interesting unseeded players here that could take this section of the draw. Of course, you've got to watch out for Pegula, really looking for some form. She hasn't been great the last couple of events. Of course, she did win a title before Wimbledon, but since then, kind of looking for some form, and also is the defending champion, so really high expectations on her. Of course, you've got to watch out for Samsonova, Linette, and Ostapenko, can do damage on all courts. But the unseeded players, you've got to watch out for Osaka. Had a really good week in Washington last week. Same with Sakkari, both going down to Raducanu in the end, but both got to be a little bit confident after last week. So definitely watch out for her as well. But this section should be really fun to watch. Next part of the draw, number 6 seed, Keys. She gets a bye in the first round. She'll take on either Maria or a qualifier in the second round. Then you got Parks versus McNally. Winner of that will take on the number 31 seed from Kova in the second round. Then you got the number 17 seed, Bencic. She'll take on either Bouchard or Arango in the second round. Then you got a qualifier taking on Potapova. Winner of that will take on the number 11 seed, Mukova, in the second round. So this is interesting. The seeds in this section are all having decent years, or at least have had standout moments over the last 12 months. So it'll be really interesting to see if they do collide, who can get out of this. Because you've got to watch out for Keys. Back on the hard courts. Of course, she won the Australian Open. Let's see if she can get back into some sort of form, because she hasn't been doing as well as we had expected over the last couple of weeks. Also got to watch out for Mukova. She's healthy. We know what she can do. She can beat anybody on any court. And you got to watch out for Bencic as well. Had a really good run at Wimbledon. Let's see if she can convert that onto the hard courts as well. But it's going to be really fun to see, because the seeds here should get out of this. But of course, who knows? Some of these unseeded players also could do some damage. In the bottom part of the draw, we've got the number 16 seed, Towson. She gets a bye in the first round. She'll take on either the wildcard Mandlik or Bronzetti in the second round. Then you got to qualify versus Staraptevseva. Winner of that will take on the number 21 seed, Fret, in the second round. Then you got the number 27 seed, Pavlyuchenkova. She'll take on either Lise or a qualifier in the second round. Then you got Putintseva taking on another qualifier. Winner of that will take on the number 2 seed, Swiatek, in the second round. And finally, Swiatek gets, at least on paper, a better draw than she's had. It seems like this draw is, at least early days, should be pretty manageable for her, compared to someone like Gauff, who has kind of a nightmare potential second round matchups there with like Collins and stuff. At least this feels a little bit nicer. Even though Putintseva is dangerous, Swiatek should like her chances of getting out of this, but obviously, got to watch out for Swiatek coming back for the first time since winning Wimbledon. So let's see how she looks on the hard courts her first time out. Also got to watch out for Towson. Has had a really good week this week in Washington, and obviously dangerous on all courts. Also got to watch out for Frere. She is also having a good week in Washington, so some players there with some confidence on the surface. But I've put in Putintseva as well, someone to watch out for, because we know how dangerous she can be on all courts, and she can beat anybody at any time. And if she does match up against Swiatek in that second round, it will be really fun to watch, even though you think that Swiatek should get through that one. So, good opportunity for Swiatek to make the quarterfinals. And then once we get to the quarterfinals, obviously players like Keys or Bencic could be her opponent, so it could be real tough once we get there. So there it is. That is the draw for Canada, and it's missing Sabalenka, but it's still got some really big matchups potentially on the first couple of rounds. There's some crazy first round matches, and of course, maybe Gauff's got the tougher draw out of her and Swiatek based on that Collins second round potential matchup. But then again, who knows? Sometimes you get some random upsets happen on the WTA, and some players have easier draw than others at the start, but then they end up losing to somebody who we weren't expecting to have a good week. So definitely got to watch out for everybody involved. But let me know in the comments below, who do you think's going to win this one? Is it going to be as easy as picking Gauff, or maybe Pegula, who's won the last couple, or maybe Swiatek can ride that confidence wave? Or do you think someone else is going to win? Maybe some of the lower seeds are going to get there. Maybe someone like Anisimova, who's now a top seed, but somebody like maybe a Mukova or a Bencic can get a win here, or maybe one of the unseeded players can go out and win this tournament. But there it is, Canada. It starts tomorrow, and it's going to be really interesting to see who can get through this one.